everyone. I am Dr. Babita Bhardwaj, Assistant Professor in Army Institute of Education. Today I am going to discuss nature and scope of language. It is the first subpart of first unit Fundamentals of Language of Teaching of English, course code BED 120. As all of us know, communication is very important in all walks of life. Language is God's amazing gift to mankind. Without language, human civilization would have remained an impossibility. It is present everywhere, in our thoughts and dreams, prayers and meditations, relations and communication, and everywhere. Besides being a means of communication and a storehouse of knowledge, it is an instrument of thinking as well as a source of delight. If you want to enjoy your time, you would like to sing, but for singing we need language. A teacher interacting with students, heads of the state addressing the nation, intellectuals discussing an important issue, and no communication is possible without a language. It is as important as the air we breathe and is the most valuable possession of human beings. So today we are going to study nature of language. For understanding nature of language, let us first discuss few definitions of language. According to Edward Sapir, language is purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, and desires by means of a system of voluntarily produced symbols. So, two words are highlighted here, human and non-instinctive. Language, as Sapir rightly said, is human. Only human beings possess language and all normal humans uniformly possess it. Animals do have a communication system, but it is not a developed system. That is why language is said to be species specific and species uniform. Also, language does not pass from a parent to a child. In this sense, it is non-instinctive. A child has to learn language and he or she has to learn the language of the society where he is placed in. Now, the second definition is according to Henry Sweet, an English phonetician and language scholar. He stated, language is the expression of ideas by means of speech sounds combined into words. Words are combined into sentences. This combination answering to that of ideas into thoughts. So, small units of sound combine to form a word, words combine to form a sentence, which further help in conveying thoughts, ideas, and feelings. Noam Chomsky, an American linguist, philosopher, and cognitive scientist, defined language in following words. A language is a set of sentences, each finite in length and constructed out of finite set of elements. Chomsky meant to convey that each sentence has a structure. Human brain is competent enough to construct different sentences from out of the limited set of sounds or symbols belonging to a particular language. According to ancient Indian scholar Patanjali, language is that human expression which is uttered out of speech organs. So according to him, different vocal organs are used to express ideas using a language. According to Cambridge Dictionary, language is defined as a system of communication consisting of sound, words, and grammar, or the system of communication used by people in a particular country or type of work. In Collins Dictionary, it is defined as a system of communication which consists of a set of sounds, written symbols, which are used by people of a particular country or region for talking or writing. From the above definitions, it is evident that language is multifaceted and complex. Let us now discuss nature of language. So the first point which we are going to discuss in nature of language is a means of communication. Language is very important means of communication between humans. A person can communicate his or her ideas, emotions, beliefs or feelings to B person as they share a common code that makes up the language. Language is so important a form of communication between humans that it is difficult to think of a society without language. Whether communication is taking place through letters, mobiles, Facebook, Twitter, mass media or any other medium, we cannot imagine it to take place without a language. Language is arbitrary. Language is arbitrary in a sense that there is no inherent relationship between the words of a language and their meanings or the ideas conveyed by them. There is no reason why a female adult human being is called a woman. In English, Aurat in Urdu, Zen in Persian language and Mahila in Hindi. Selection of these words in the language mentioned here is purely arbitrary, an accident of history. In this picture, it can be seen that there is no resemblance between shape or size of the object or a person with the name assigned to them. For example, in window, there is no resemblance between the shape of the window or the written word. Similarly, if we see chair, the spelling of chair is not at all resembling with the shape of the chair. Similarly for parrot and a girl, the choice of words selected to mean a particular thing or idea is purely arbitrary. But once a word is selected for a particular referent, it comes to stay as such. A language is said to be arbitrary. This means that it is firstly created on the basis of social agreement. In this relation, there is no reasonable explanation. For instance, why a certain four-footed domestic animal is called dog in English. Giving a name of the animal is really based on the agreement among the members of the social group. Recognizing this general fact about language leads us to conclude that property of linguistic sign is their arbitrary relationship with the object they are used to indicate. It may be noted that had language not been arbitrary, there would have been only one language in the world. Language is systematic. Language is not an amorphous, disorganized or a chaotic combination of sounds. Although language is symbolic, yet its symbols are arranged in a particular system. All languages have their system of arrangements, though symbols in each human language are finite. They can be arranged infinitely. That is to say, we can produce an infinite set of sentences by a finite set of symbols. Language is system of systems. As human body is a complex system of systems consisting of various subsystems like respiratory system, nervous system, excretory system, etc. Similarly, language also consists of different subsystems. Let us take an example of a brick. Any brick may be used anywhere in a building in defined area, but it is not so with sounds of or graphic symbols standing for the sounds of a language. Sounds are arranged in certain fixed or established systematic order to form meaningful units of words. Similarly, words are also arranged in a particular system to frame acceptable, meaningful sentences. These systems operate at two levels, phonological and syntactical level. At the phonological level, for example, sounds of a language appear only in some fixed combinations. There is no word, for example, that starts with BZ, LR or ZL combination. Similarly, words too combine to form sentences according to certain conventions, that is, grammatical or structural rules of the language. The sentence, I washed and dried the clothes, is acceptable, but the sentence, clothes washed and dried, the I is not acceptable as the word order in the later sentence does not conform to the established language conventions. Language is symbolic. Each language works through symbols. Different words used in a language are the symbols. They stand for certain things. The language will function well if its symbols are known both to the speaker and the person whom they are being used. For example, in English alphabet there are 26 letters which produce 44 sounds. Language is primarily vocal. Language is primarily made up of vocal sounds only produced by physiological articulatory mechanism in the human body. In the beginning, it must have appeared as vocal sounds only. Writing must have come much later as an intelligent attempt to represent vocal sounds. Writing is only graphic representation of the sounds of the language. There are a number of languages which continue to exist even today in the spoken form only. They do not have a written form. A child learns to speak first, writing comes much later. Also, during his lifetime, a man speaks much more than he writes. The total quantum of speech is much larger than the total quantum of written material. It is because of these reasons that some linguists say that speech is primary, whereas writing is secondary. Writing did have one advantage over speech. It could be preserved in books or records. There are many other means of communication used by human beings. For example, gestures, winks, notes, braille alphabet, symbols, sirens, ringing of bell, even emojis, which are frequently used in day-to-day communication through WhatsApp or through Facebook. But they are not so flexible, comprehensive, perfect and extensive as languages. Language is a social phenomenon. Language exists in society. We all know that a language is socially acquired, learned and then used. If this statement is related to language acquisition or language learning, we may have an illustration that a newborn child acquires communicative competence with a given language in a speech community. In the next step, he learns and uses the language in a speech community. We are not born with an instinct to learn a particular language, whether it is English, Hindi, Russian, Chinese, French or any other language. We learn a language as we get exposure to the language through members of the society using that language. If a language is not used in any society, it dies out. If a child is left in isolation, he will not be acquire any language. Language is a set of conventional communicative signals used by human beings for communication in a community. Language is, in this sense, a possession of a social group comprising an indispensable set of rules which permits its member to relate to each other, to interact with each other, to cooperate with each other. In social context, a language is not only means of communication, but also it is an important medium for establishing relationship and maintaining social relationships. Language is non-instinctive and conventional. No language was created in a day out of a mutually agreed upon formula by a group of human beings. Language is the outcome of evolution and conventions. Each generation transmits this convention on to the next generation. Like all human institutions, languages also change and die, grow and expand. Every language then is a convention in a community. It is not instinctive because it is acquired by human beings. Nobody gets a language in heritage. He acquires it, and everybody has been provided with an innate ability to acquire language. Language is unique, creative, complex and modifiable. Language is a unique phenomenon of the earth. Other planets do not seem to have any language, although this fact may be invalidated if we happen to discover a talking generation on any other planet. But so far, there is no evidence of the presence of language on any other planet. Each language is unique in its own sense. By this, we do not mean that language do not have any similarity or universals. Despite their common features and language universals, each language has its peculiarity and distinct features. For example, the word color. In British English, it is pronounced as color, and in American English, it is also pronounced as color. But if we see the spelling, in British English, it is spelled as COLOUR, whereas in American English, it is spelled as COLOR. Language has creativity and productivity. The structural elements of human language can be combined to produce new utterances which neither the speaker nor his hearer may have ever made or heard before any listener, yet which both sides understand without difficulty. The first aspect of the creative use of language is that a human being can say things that have never been said before. If we think back about our talk we have just had with our friend, we may be certain that our conversation consisted of sentences that neither we nor our conversant have heard or produced before. Now, duality of language. The language that human beings use consists of two levels, sound and meaning. A finite set of sound units can be grouped and regrouped into meaningful units. These can be grouped and regrouped to generate further functional constituents of higher hierarchical order. We can produce sentences through this process of combining units of a different order. Animal calls do not show such duality. They are unitary. They can produce sound to convey one particular message. It cannot be created differently. Now, displacement. One can talk about situations, places, and objects far removed from one's present surroundings and time. We often talk about events that happened long time ago and at a distant place. For example, if we have to narrate a story to a child, we generally start as once upon a time there was a king. So we are referring to past. If we have to plan something, we will be talking about future. In animals also, displacement is found. In some animals, the nature of displacement of language is existing. For example, in bees. Bees of course perform dances about the source of nectar that is also removed from the place of dance. But they cannot convey what happened in the previous season through their dance features. But human beings, however, can narrate events in which they were not involved. Language is both linguistic and communicative competence. A language is an abstract set of psychological principles and sociological considerations that constitute a person's competence as a speaker in a given situation. These psychological principles make available to him an unlimited number of sentences he can draw upon in a concrete situation and provide him with the ability to understand and create entirely new sentences. Hence, language is not just a verbal behavior. It is a system of rules establishing correlations between meanings and sound sequences. It is a set of principles that a speaker masters. It is not anything that he does. In brief, a language is a code which is different from the act of performing. But mere linguistic or communicative competence is not enough for communication. It has to be coupled with communicative competence. This is the view of the social linguists, who stress that The use of language according to the occasion and the context, the speaker and the listener, profession and the social status of the speaker and the listener. That language is the result of social interaction, established truth. Language is human and structurally complex. No species other than human beings has been endowed with language. Animals cannot acquire human language because of its complex structure and their physical inadequacies. Animals do not have the type of brain which the human beings possess, and their articulatory organs are also very much different from those of the human beings. Furthermore, any system of animal communication does not make use of the quality of features, that is of concurrent system of sound and the meaning. Human language is open-ended, extendable and modifiable, whereas the animal language is not. Now let us discuss scope of language. Society is dependent on language at large. Language has scope in all activities. So let us take one by one. First of all, social life. Man, being a social animal, cannot live without society. And to live in society, one must communicate and express his thoughts to his fellow beings. All social activities take place through language. So it can be said that formation of society is dependent on language. Now, social control. Language is a tool of social behavior as it conveys thoughts, feelings and ideas. It shows mentality of those who uses it. In other words, it reflects mindset of a society. Language and literature. Language is a vehicle of literature. It is through language that literature is preserved, developed and transmitted from one generation to the next generation. Our literature, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bible or Quran could have not been possible without the use of language. Language in education. Can you think of imparting education without language? No. No education is possible without a language. Language gives insight into various sources of thought and expression. It enlarges the sphere of one's knowledge. It also is means of instruction. Language and evaluation. If we are talking about education, so it has to be evaluated. It is not only education which requires evaluation. For any competition, let it be a dance competition or a sports event, we need evaluation. For every evaluation, for every judgment, we need language. One can pass a judgment on an event, object or a place after its critical evaluation. Judgment need a language for its explanation. Language and evaluation are again closely related when it is about evaluating the knowledge of a person. Language and recreation. It is through language only that one can enjoy and use his leisure time by reading various stories, novels, poetry, drama written in that language. Language and employment. For getting any job, linguistic skills are very important. Anyone who is having effective communication skills can leave good impression on interview board. Mastery over the specific language skills can get job in the places where that particular language is used. Therefore, knowledge of language can become helpful in employment also. Now, language and culture. Language shapes the culture and vice versa. Language speaks the culture and helps to preserve it for a long time. Language carries the culture, tradition and heritage. Without language, cultural activities in society would remain dormant and all human experiences will become useless. Language is an element of culture itself. Language is required for celebration of all the festivals. No festival is possible without use of language. Now, language in hospitality industry. Hospitality industry combines different service industries that include restaurants, lodgings, theme parks, event planning, transportation, and other additional fields in the tourism industry. The knowledge of various language skills are of importance for the hospitality industry because there is a need of communication to different people of many other nationalities. This may help in knowing what most visitors require. International organizations. So international organizations such as United Nations, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, UNESCO or Red Cross. They all will always need people with language skills for a range of functions from administrative work to management work. Most will need a cross section of language skills plus many speakers in the main international languages. Language in publication and media. The best opportunity around the world for name, fame, money and mind is publication and media. It is supposed that without books and media, no one can gain the information. The matter is not confined with publication and media only. The most important is the way expression through the language. Now, I would like to conclude this topic with Mahatma Gandhi's quotations. A language is an exact reflection of the character and growth of its speakers. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. Thank you.